With the Latinx population here at the University of Pacific, about almost 50% of our incoming freshman class are considered local within an hour radius of Pacific. And so for them to, that 50-mile radius that Pacific has in their requirement to live on campus, if it's less than 50 miles, students are going to like, yeah, I don't want to pay $12,000 to have a mandated package to live on campus. So that includes food and meals and everything, but it's really expensive. And there isn't a scholarship to cover that for our students. So the aid only goes really up to their tuition costs, but not inclusive of an opportunity to live on campus. So therefore, students choose to do the commuter and save the $12,000. So that's why I believe a lot of our students rather commute and go back and forth and gas money and everything else in time versus taking all loans to live at the University of Pacific.
Yeah, I'm a local student from Stockton.
I'm a local student.
I do reside in Stockton community. I just live in North Stockton.
Yeah, I'm from Stockton.
No, I'm not a local student. I live in Los Angeles, so that's where I'm originally from.
I stay in Tracy, so I'm a commuter student, so somewhat local.
Yeah, commuter students here at the University of Pacific, anywhere between, I would say, a half hour to an hour is probably what our average commuter student is doing here at Pacific.
I drive to school every day. It usually takes me about 7 to 10 minutes to and from school, so 20 total, I guess. On a bad day, it usually takes me probably 20 to get to school if there's a lot of traffic.
I get to school by driving 15, 20 minutes every day, and it's kind of a pain.
I drive to school. It usually takes about 30 minutes to commute to school.
I drive to school. For me to commute, it takes about 10 minutes, 15. It's usually not that bad.
For me to drive from my home to campus, it depends if I follow the speed limit or not. So if I go at the speed limit, approximately 20 minutes. If I go a little bit above the speed limit, 12.
I drive every day in my own car. It kind of depends on the time of day and how fast I'm driving. On a day where there's no traffic and there's not really any craziness on the road, I can make it here in 20 minutes. On a day where there's traffic, it can take anywhere from 25 to 30. But if I'm running late for a class, I can make it here in 15 if I drive fast enough.
The hardest part about commuting to campus has to be getting up earlier just to get in my car and drive 20 minutes away every single day. And it's harder if you have an 8 a.m. class or a 9 a.m. class, because then you got to get up even earlier than usual,
The hardest part about community campus is the long drive and getting up so early.
The hardest part about commuting to campus is waking up to go drive, because sometimes when you wake up, you're not really ready to drive. You kind of feel sluggish, so it can kind of sometimes be hard.
The hardest part about commuting to campus is being tired and having to drive home. Or if there's times if you have a night class where you get out at 10 p.m., it gets kind of scary having to drive at nighttime.
I believe one of the hardest part for our commuter students is, one, the ability to leave home, to finding the right time to get here. And then parking. Parking's a major issue. So are they going to be able to find the parking lot nearby or a parking lot further, or they're going to have to park in the neighborhood. So I think that's one of our greatest challenges is the times of going in and out. The other component is the students having to go back and forth. I mean, they come here, do they have a place here? Where can they kind of put their bags or call a home away from home? And then sometimes just going back and forth between classes can take time away from their study times.
I think the hardest part about commuting to campus is you never feel settled. So a lot of times I try and make the most out of my time here. So I will stay here and do my homework till late and then get back home at a later hour. But that kind of puts stress on me because then I either have to buy food or have to pack food, spending money on gas and things like that. So I'd say it's more of the time and the financial strain is what's difficult about commuting.
I'm paying for college through financial aid?
I'm paying for college through scholarships, and then I take out loans to cover the rest of whatever my scholarships or FAFSA doesn't cover.
It's kind of a mixture of grants, student loans, and during the summer I work construction jobs usually. So I've done general construction and contracting and roofing. I usually just kind of work crazy hours during the summer and stack up as much money as possible to pay for school.
I'm paying for college with cash because my dad, he's like a faculty member, so I get like a kind of like a discounted price.
It's too expensive to live on campus, and I live with my parents.
I don't live on campus because it's pretty expensive to live on campus, and then I already have to take out loans to pay for the rest of my tuition. And then also I'd rather just be home with my parents if I live in Stockton already. It just gets kind of hard sometimes, but I mean, it's definitely, I like being able to go home whenever I want to, because if it's really close by.
A lot of our students here at the University of Pacific, in terms of paying for college, is a combination of aid. Our students, a lot of our students are dependent of the federal package in terms of Pell Grants, in terms of student loans, and then of course we're also dependent on Cal Grants. And then with the Cal Grants, Pacific matches that or more, so that's the combination of aid. And that's what our students are really dependent on: federal, state, and university scholarships, or what we like also to call private scholarships, are coming on the outside. So the more aid we can provide as a combination for our students, that will help them keep them here at school.
I don't live on campus because it costs too much. It was like, what, like $6,000 a semester or something like that, around there.
I don't live on campus because it is crazy expensive, and it is way cheaper for me to stay out in Tracy. And I live with family too in Tracy, so I don't really have to pay rent. So most of my money goes to like just paying tuition and gas and food, more or less.
I don't live on campus because I lived on campus freshman year and I completely hated it. The weekends were dead here. I couldn't stand my hallmates. I just didn't like living on campus, so I moved off of campus.
I wish I could have lived on campus. It's just so it's like really expensive, or like I wish I could have afforded to like have my own house around here, but it's just difficult to do it with as a student, like going full time.
I think they should make some spaces here more commuter friendly. We have a commuters lounge on campus. I think it's in the McCaffrey Center, and it is not used by commuters like at all. People just go there to play video games and stuff like that. I think they should have like different types of lounges or like different types of buildings for commuters, like that have like, I don't know, like futons or something. So if commuters are coming from far, like I know some people come from like Turlock or Tracy, you know, they can just take a nap here instead of having to drive all the way back home, especially if they have like big gaps.
In terms of our campus community, I think a lot of our students lose a touch of campus life, campus spirit. And I think it's because, one, not only are they trying to meet the aid package, because not all of University of Pacific meets all their aid in terms of loans, and loans could maybe make it, but the students don't want to take out that many loans. So they're trying to subsidize that by staying at home, commuting, and with that, they get another job off campus. So not only they're working on campus, they're also working another job off campus. So they're trying to do all this combination, and then at the same time, I really believe it does affect their ability to be outstanding students, because since they're trying to meet all the needs, not only at Pacific, but at home, because they're staying at home, plus working side jobs on top of that.